Let's talk about the recent situation involving Jada Pinkett Smith. The actress, producer, and talk show host has once again found herself in the headlines, but this time it's not because of a new project, a red carpet appearance, or a candid conversation about her personal life. Instead, the attention centers on a serious legal matter involving a restraining order, a situation that reportedly unfolded over time and required court intervention. For those who have followed Jada over the years, you know she has built much of her public persona on transparency. Whether discussing marriage, motherhood, mental health, or personal growth, she has consistently invited the public into her world. Through interviews and public appearances, she has spoken openly about her relationship with Will Smith, her family life, and her individual journey. That openness has made her relatable to many, but it has also meant that her life is often under a microscope. So when reports surfaced that Jada had sought legal protection from an individual, it immediately sparked widespread attention. According to accounts that circulated publicly, a man allegedly developed an obsession with her and began showing up at places connected to her daily life. These appearances were not isolated incidents. They were reportedly repeated, and over time, the pattern of behavior raised concerns. It was said that this individual sent messages and gifts as well. While celebrities often receive fan mail and expressions of admiration, there is a clear distinction between respectful support and conduct that crosses personal boundaries. In this case, what may have initially appeared as persistent attention reportedly evolved into something more unsettling. At a certain point, the situation escalated to where Jada felt her safety was potentially at risk. When someone begins appearing at a person's home or workplace without invitation, especially repeatedly, it shifts from admiration into intrusion. For anyone, that would be distressing. For someone in the public eye, it can be even more alarming because public figures are aware that their visibility sometimes makes them targets. When fear enters the picture, action often follows. Jada reportedly made the decision to pursue a restraining order, which is not a step taken lightly. Filing for a restraining order requires more than simply stating discomfort. It involves presenting documentation, recounting specific incidents, and demonstrating a credible concern for personal safety. The legal system treats these matters seriously. Courts require evidence that unwanted contact occurred and that it created reasonable fear or harassment. In many cases, this includes police reports, witness statements, saved messages, photographs, and detailed timelines of events. The process can be lengthy and emotionally draining, particularly because it often forces the person seeking protection to relieve uncomfortable or frightening moments. For Jada, going through this likely meant working closely with her legal team to compile records of the alleged behavior. It may have included providing statements, attending hearings, and answering questions in a formal setting. Despite her public confidence, navigating such a personal issue within a courtroom environment would undoubtedly be stressful. As the case proceeded, both sides reportedly presented their arguments. The individual at the center of the situation allegedly claimed he meant no harm and simply wanted to meet her. However, intent does not automatically erase the impact of actions. Even if someone insists their motives are innocent, repeated uninvited appearances and persistent contact can reasonably create fear. This is an important distinction in cases like these. The law does not solely consider whether a person intended harm, it also evaluates whether their behavior would cause a reasonable person to feel threatened or harassed. If a pattern of conduct crosses that line, courts may step in to establish boundaries. After reviewing the information presented, the judge ultimately ruled in Jada Pinkett Smith's favor and granted the restraining order. That decision legally bars the individual from contacting her or approaching her within a specified distance. Violating such an order can carry serious legal consequences, including arrest. For Jada, the ruling likely brought a sense of relief. Living with uncertainty about personal safety can take a psychological toll. Even the possibility that someone might show up unexpectedly can create anxiety. Knowing there is now a court order in place to deter that behavior can restore some peace of mind. This case also shines a light on a broader reality faced by many public figures. Fame can blur the boundaries between public and private life. Admirers may feel connected to celebrities through interviews, social media posts, and public appearances. While most fans express that connection respectfully, a small number can cross lines that compromise safety. Celebrity homes are sometimes easier to locate than private individuals' residences. Public schedules may be accessible. Events are advertised. All of this can make maintaining privacy more difficult. As a result, security measures become an essential part of life for many in the entertainment industry. However, the need for a restraining order underscores that even with security teams and protective strategies, legal recourse is sometimes necessary. The justice system exists to protect individuals from harassment and intimidation, regardless of their social status. Another significant aspect of this situation is the emotional weight involved. Seeking a restraining order means acknowledging vulnerability. It requires publicly stating that someone's actions have caused fear. For a high-profile individual, that vulnerability becomes news, adding another layer of scrutiny. In Jada's case, her public history of openness may have made this event even more discussed. She has built a brand on candid storytelling. Yet this was not a voluntary revelation for the sake of discussion. It was a legal matter rooted in personal security. It is also worth noting that restraining orders are not automatically granted simply because someone requests one. Judges must be convinced by the evidence. The fact that the court approved the order suggests that the documentation and testimony met the legal threshold for protection. From a legal standpoint, the order likely includes specific conditions: no direct contact, no indirect contact through third parties, and a mandated physical distance that must be maintained. In some cases, restraining orders also prohibit online communication or monitoring. Violations can escalate quickly and lead to criminal charges. For Jada Pinkett Smith, this legal victory represents more than just paperwork. It reaffirms her right to boundaries and security. It sends a clear message that persistent unwanted behavior has consequences, even when directed at someone in the public eye. Beyond the immediate circumstances, the situation contributes to an ongoing conversation about celebrity safety. Over the years, numerous well-known figures have faced similar challenges. Public admiration can sometimes morph into fixation. In extreme cases, that fixation becomes dangerous. The entertainment industry has seen instances where stalking behavior escalated significantly. As a result, many celebrities invest heavily in private security, surveillance systems, and legal teams prepared to act swiftly. Despite those measures, situations still arise where court intervention becomes the safest solution. This event also resonates with everyday individuals. While Jada's fame amplifies media coverage, the core issue, feeling threatened by persistent unwanted attention, is something many people experience. Restraining orders exist to protect anyone who can demonstrate a credible fear for their safety. In that sense, this outcome serves as a reminder that legal systems can function as intended. When evidence is presented and standards are met, courts can provide protective relief. For victims of harassment, that can be empowering. Throughout this process, Jada remained relatively composed publicly. There were no dramatic public confrontations or emotional press conferences. Instead, the matter moved through legal channels. That approach reinforces the idea that sometimes the most effective way to address conflict is through established procedures, rather than public debate. The granting of the restraining order effectively closes this chapter. While it may not erase the stress she experienced during the ordeal, it establishes clear legal boundaries moving forward. It also underscores that personal safety is non-negotiable, regardless of fame. In reflecting on the broader picture, this situation illustrates the complexities of celebrity life. Public visibility can create connection and opportunity, but it can also create vulnerability. The balance between accessibility and security is delicate. For Jada Pinkett Smith, emerging from this legal matter with the protection she sought marks a significant moment. It demonstrates that even individuals accustomed to public scrutiny can and should take decisive steps when they feel unsafe. Ultimately, this story is about boundaries: personal, legal, and societal. It's about recognizing when admiration turns into intrusion and knowing when to involve authorities. It's about documenting behavior, presenting facts, and trusting the judicial system to evaluate those facts fairly. As the news cycle moves on, the most important takeaway remains simple: everyone deserves to feel safe in their own home and workplace. The court's decision reinforces that principle. Jada Pinkett Smith's restraining order case may have attracted headlines because of her celebrity status, but at its core, it reflects a universal truth. Safety and peace of mind are fundamental rights. When those rights are challenged, legal protections exist to restore them. And in this instance, the court's ruling provided exactly that: a legal safeguard designed to ensure distance, deter further unwanted contact, and allow her to move forward without fear. That concludes the full breakdown of the restraining order situation involving Jada Pinkett Smith, a case that underscores the importance of boundaries, documentation, and the pursuit of personal security through lawful means. Thanks for the watching and subscribe.